What's going on, Firebenders? FirePhoenixKing here today on another episode of FireFlowerPower, and today we have Obi and Groose again. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Glad to be back. This is Obi here.
Hey, Bruce here. Very happy to be back. I love talking with you guys.
Yep, and I
Definitely.
definitely do too. And I do want to say that so far, loving the podcast, loving everything about it, and loving to just, kind of be able to jump right into stuff. But I do want to talk about sort of what I've been sort of doing because Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in particular, definitely worth to go see it. But we will definitely have a spoiler podcast soon. This one, if we do talk about Sonic 2 during this podcast, it will be spoiler free for those tuning in, so don't worry about that. But how are you two doing?
I've been doing great. I haven't seen the Sonic movie yet, like y'all, but maybe next week. I heard it's good. Bruce has
It's
been
great.
saying a lot of stuff about it.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I can't wait to talk about it. And we'll do spoiler free today, but it'll be great to talk about it in full eventually.
All right, tell us about it.
Yeah, we ready to go right in?
Yeah. Let's go
Okay, so
right
yeah,
in.
but let's Phoenix before we really talk about tidbits and stuff. Let's just say in general how we feel about it, because I'll say definitely like obviously it's not like a masterpiece or anything. It's not like one of the best movies ever made, but like
Yeah.
it is everything that it needed to be a sequel like to the first movie. It's first movie like a fun kind of setup, but not really like there's a lot of focus on like the humans, and it was not like it wasn't perfect, and there were some weird jokes in there too. But like this one, so many more jokes land. There's so many more great moments between Sonic and the other characters. The other characters especially are really good. Um, and yeah, this is just everything that it needed to be as a sequel to that. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
I
they stepped it up completely.
I actually agree with that. I think that's really how I really do see it, is that at the end of the day, like this is the sequel that it really needed to be. I agree with that. That's a really good way of putting it, because even if you say it's even if you dislike the movie or so, it stayed true to its own story within their own Sonic universe, and I think that the movie really did that justice, and it really provided answers to those that are starting to get into this universe. But that was a really good way of putting it. I think that ultimately, yes, it was the sequel it needed to be. And generally, I do feel pretty good about it. We will definitely dive into more details later on, but for me to go up to a person or even Obi, to tell Obi to watch the movie, I would recommend it. It was a really good movie. Um, to say about
Absolutely.
it. So I am very happy that it came out as it was. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely like the best video game movie we've gotten. Like
yeah.
it just like there's so many like just nice character moments. Like I feel like
Yes.
they've gotten Sonic this interpretation of Sonic that's kind of like he's still young, so he's not as experienced, but he still is very Sonic like. He's still got the one-liners, but he's got the heart, man. There's like the writing between him and Tails here is like the best we've had since like Sonic Adventure 2. Like
Yeah.
there's like actual like a legit friendship between them, and like even
Yeah.
like you could say Sonic Colors kind of has like good moments between them, but there hasn't really been like an actual good heartfelt moment between them. And we got a bunch of that in this. I also really ended up loving this interpretation of Knuckles, because
Yeah.
I won't go into too many details, but like they kind of he's kind of like I see him more akin to like Starfire, where like because a lot of people for the
Oh.
last like yeah he's very Starfire like where he's just not of this world, so he's not dumb. He's like still a really good warrior and stuff. He's just not
Yeah.
accustomed to stuff from this world. But he's got really great drive, uh, and he kicks ass. Like he's fantastic. Idris brought it with his
Yeah,
voice
yeah,
too.
Idris did. Yeah.
Knuckles sounds awesome. I love the way he sounds. So,
Ye-
yeah, like because for the last while with Sonic, ever since like the Four Kids takeover around like 2005 and the stuff with Sonic X, like they kind of made Knuckles out to be an idiot in a lot of the games. And, like he's like actually dumb in like games like Sonic 06 and they then they just used him less and less. Like barring Sonic Mania, he hasn't had anything to do in a Sonic game since like Sonic Heroes, I think.
Dang.
Uh, yeah, because I mean he didn't do anything in Forces or Lost World or Color. He wasn't even in Colors at all. So seeing Knuckles shine and be the badass character that we all know he is was like such a wonderful thing to see, and they absolutely nailed that with this movie. So I'm really really happy with that. Obviously, Jim Carrey Eggman,
Woo.
hilarious. Yeah,
Yes.
he's just a joy. Like Jim Carrey is my favorite actor because he always is just a joy to see on the screen.
Yeah, for
And
sure. I
yeah,
felt that too because like even in the games, kind of like you said, heartfelt moments like that between Sonic and Tails, and like I said, we won't go into details again to respect those that have not seen it, but yes, it was really good. And Obi, I do want to ask you though, have you played any of the Sonic games?
I played Sonic Adventure 2 a little bit when I was
Okay.
a kid. I played Sonic not Colors. The Heroes, the one with the
Oh
pixie
yes.
themes.
Yes,
right, yeah.
Heroes. Yeah, those games I also grew up with, and so watching this movie and then having to, having played some of these games, really definitely felt, somewhat true to the games, but also them having them as in the production team also bringing a new sort of spin to Sonic, kind of like how you said. Gru's, of Sonic being young, inexperienced, but he's still like his heart and is really all there. You can still see that in the characters, and I absolutely love that. And Knuckles and Tails, and I do have some questions regarding, the voice acting choices for like Tails and Sonic. For those that do not know, that Sonic is voiced by um a
And Schwartz.
yes, Ben Schwartz, who is not typically in the video games, and Tails is voiced by the video games Tails. But
Pauline O'Shaughnessy. And I just want to
yes,
say that Colleen as Tails, like, cause it's kind of hard to tell with like the modern Sonic voice actors if they're really good or not because Sonic games haven't really had any good writing, like with these new voice act for like the last 10 years all of the writing in
uh-huh.
Sonic games has been very meta, very jokey. There have been no serious actually good moments in any of these games, so we haven't heard Colleen as Tails like in like a dire situation or in a really heartfelt situation. And I think that
Okay, is that
I think that she absolutely nails it. And like now I'm totally all for like I think that she's the best voice of Tails we've ever had, period. With
wow?
this movie, with finally some good writing between these characters, finally made me realize that yeah, Colleen's voice as Tails is like actually perfect. I
Okay,
love her.
that's good to hear because even someone like me that's played the games and stuff, that hearing you say that actually makes a lot of sense because you're right. We haven't had these characters put in some of these sort of places where they go through in the movies, and for them to kind of have their voice actors be like put in this spot that we've never seen them before in. It's like, okay, actually, I agree with that. I
Yeah,
definitely do agree
yeah.
with that, and it feels like that because it is true what you said. Like we haven't seen these characters put what they're going through in the movie, and that's because yes, I would have to agree. Some of the Sonic content has not been up to up to par, up to standards, I guess you should say. But
Yep. There has not
yeah.
been a moment, but like there's one particular really heartfelt scene between Sonic and Tails in the movie that I'm sure you remember, and
Mm-hmm.
there has not been better writing between those two
Yeah,
characters since 2001 with
and
Sonic Adventure
and it
2.
really does make you feel for them, like for their relationship, like again, not to go too into details, but just be able to look into the chemistry between both of them. I definitely agree, and now that you said that, I think that even adds even more chemistry to a scene that I'm not currently watching right now, but like just remembering the scene, like it actually adds a lot more value now that you said that too, because yeah, it's almost like they like they were they were given this, direction, and they pulled it off like very, very great, like, which comes to show that maybe there is something that the Sonic team or whoever's handling the games, that they should take a page from this and be able to be like, maybe we should put more of this into their games. So yeah, because man, some of the best decisions, some of the best games I've bought are Sonic games. Just I've had lots of fun. Shadow of the Hedgehog. that's
Oh
that's
boy.
I wouldn't
Like,
say I regret it. I wouldn't say I regret it, but it was.
Shadow has its good moments. That's the thing about being a Sonic fan, is like Sonic has the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Like that's why personally, and I know especially in this chat, it might be heresy to say that I've always liked Sonic more than Mario. But that's the thing, is like when Sonic is at his peak, I enjoy it more than Mario. But like a good like the speed levels or the daytime stages in Unleashed, and the speed character levels in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, like that's like some of the most peak platforming gameplay I've ever played, just because going fast is so much fun. I mean, Sonic is the reason that I became a speedrunner
Oh wow,
with games. So
well, that's cool.
because you always want to go fast, you always want to get those better times when you're playing a Sonic game. And
That's so cool.
That's what inspired me
I didn't know
to
that.
pick that up with other games. Yeah. So Sonic is really important to me. So I think that's why I get so excited about this stuff, because when Sonic is like at his peak and incredibly good, it's really, really good. And like in terms of writing, this in like just character moments, this is the first time we've gotten like incredible character moments since like at least like a decade ago. Because they've had the same writers on each game since Colors in 2010, and they really they were more of like a Saturday morning kind of like writing crew. They didn't really know how to write like an emotional or like a crazy story with like intense whatever
Right.
happenings. Yeah, so with consequences, there we go.
There
Whereas
you
like
go.
if you remember the story of Sonic Adventure 2, like there is some crazy stuff that happens in there. A man gets executed on television. so yeah, I'll just say overall with the Sonic movie, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm glad that they just improved on everything, and even like with the human characters that I did not
Right.
expect to like much at all, like Tom and Maddie. I from the first movie, I was kind of like, yeah, they're okay, but I actually really liked a lot of their moments in this one. I
Right.
ended up liking the human moments. They still maybe were a bit too overdone and could have been shortened,
For sure.
but I ended up walking out of this movie really happy, and I'm really excited for the future of this series too.
Yeah, for the franchise, for the movies, yeah, definitely. And just to kind of touch upon it a bit, because I know that the production team was also talking about starting their own universe. So I think that would be very interesting to see what direction they actually take. Because I know they commented that the first three movies were gonna be sort of video game focused, but then the others were going to be outside of their element, where they would just create a universe around Sonic. So I don't know. We'll definitely see how it goes. But in terms of games, yeah, like you said, the whole going fast with Sonic, it's amazing when it works. So that's why I'm actually, I know a lot of Sonic fans like yourself. I don't know how. Well, I think you've told us before how you feel, but I don't remember, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. But Sonic Frontiers, I'm actually looking forward to that, especially that it's also going to be open world. I'm really hoping for a fast Sonic in an open world. I think that would be awesome. But how fast can you truly go in an open world before you hit the end of the map?
Right. And like I don't want to stay on this too long because I want Obi to be part of the conversation at some point. But I will say with Frontiers, there's a couple reasons to be excited. Mostly the story they've they've gotten like they've gotten rid of the writers that have been writing the games for the last couple of decades, and now they have Ian Flynn writing the story, who's been doing stories for the comics for a really long time.
Ooh.
So he knows the characters, he knows everything. I feel like the story of Frontiers has a lot of potential to actually be interesting and have consequences and not just be a Saturday morning episode of a cartoon. Um, as for the gameplay, I'm kind of mixed because a lot of the really fun like Sonic fan projects that have come out recently have been let's come up with like this gameplay engine, and then we'll just like make an open world for you to explore. Then there's like Green Hill Paradise that people have made on PC and a couple other really cool fan projects. So the idea of Sonic in an open world works really well, but there's two things that they need to do. They need to fill it with stuff, fill it with side content, like some open world games just don't do for some reason. And then also physics. Frontiers needs physics-based platforming. It needs for you to be able to get to a really high location, and so you can have your Ubisoft moment where you look around at everything, and like, oh, I want to go there, and then you roll into a ball and you go downhill and you build up a whole bunch of speed, and then you just fly, like that we like, and having a nice gameplay system where, yeah, you have to, as you're traversing the open world, you have to actually find crafty ways to, like, okay, here's a downhill section. I'm going to use this part to build up a bunch of speed and then, get there faster rather than just, oh, okay, I guess I'll climb over this thing and then I'll do this thing, whatever. Like, physics-based platforming is something that Sonic has not had for a very long time. And bringing that back with an open world, with a really good story, like Frontiers has the potential to be amazing. But with Sonic Team's track record,
Oh.
who knows if that's gonna happen? And I love Sonic; it's one of my favorite series ever. But I definitely can't deny that the last 10 years, like since after Generations, the the Sonic as a series just hasn't felt like it's doing a lot. It's felt very like phoned in. Sonic Forces is the best example of that. There's nothing that happens in that game.
Jeez.
And it came out right after Sonic Mania, which was basically a fan project, but just, given a budget by Sega that was incredible. And it's like, maybe you guys should think about hiring some new people because the fans made a better game than Sonic Team, who had been working on Sonic Forces for like 3 or 4 years at that point.
Wow. But
Just saying.
this definitely sounds like some games that I still need to check out because I still need to check out Colors. But Obi, what kind of games have you bought that you would say would match Gruce's hype? Most recently, I suppose. Like what games or franchises?
Well, I know he's really into Final Fantasy, and today I went out to some local game stores and I
Mhm.
found they were selling a lot of games. They had like $2 bins with a bunch of games, and of course like 90 to 95% were like a bunch of like Madden, sport games that nobody wants. But I kept digging through them, and I did find Mario Paint, which of course you need the mouse for it, so it's not that valuable, but it was $1, so I went ahead and got it. I got Super Scope 6, which also you can't play nowadays because you need a Super Scope and it won't work. Even if you have one, it's not going to work on the HD TVs. And I also got the Lego Star Wars, the complete saga for Wii for $1.
Heck yeah!
Complete.
Right after the complete saga came out on the new one, perfect timing.
Yeah. Well, I was actually talking to the employee about it because he has some Lego N64 racing game on the little TV, and he said, "Oh yeah, I just have this here because of the new Lego game that just came out for Star Wars." And I told the guy, "I've only played the two that came out on GameCube." And I was just looking around, and I found this, and I'm like, "Well, speaking of the devil." But other than that, there was also a 25% sale going on for the whole store, and I
Ooh.
did get Final Fantasy 3 for Super Nintendo, which is technically Final Fantasy VI. They just named
Yep.
it 3 over in the United States.
Yeah, for those that don't know, they didn't release actual 3 and 5 in the US. So 4 was called 2 and 6 was called 3.
Wait, you
Uh,
said 4
I
and
didn't
5
even know
didn't
that.
come out over here?
they didn't release 3 and 5 in the US. So they ended up calling Final Fantasy 4 Final Fantasy 2 in the US, and then same with 6, they called it 3.
Oh, I thought it was that the first 3 that didn't come out over here. So when they got to the 4th game, they just called it Final Fantasy for Super Nintendo, like Final Fantasy 1, and then the 5th game Final Fantasy 2 and the 6th game Final Fantasy 6. That's not the case?
Nah, it was called Final Fantasy 2 in the US because Final Fantasy 1 on NES did come out in the US.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then 2, 3, and 5
I
didn't.
didn't
I
even
don't know
know
why.
this.
Yeah, I don't know why that I guess they felt like maybe they wouldn't sell as much, so it wouldn't be worth. That was back when there were like a bunch of games on Sega Saturn that never got
Yeah.
translated and whatever. Like companies didn't care if a game didn't make it out of Japan back then.
I, s- I still haven't even played Final Fantasy VII, either on Nintendo or the remake.
Probably should play on your Switch, man. It's a really good time. I mean, you should
Yeah.
play Xenoblade first, but
Yep.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Once, actually, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. After I finished Kirby, I was debating whether Xenoblade or
Xenoblade.
well, I'm debating because I also want to, do something new, something that I've been thinking about doing. So, like, say, instead of doing the like the funny moments like behind screen, like I would buy Xenoblade and do it on stream, and then do the video off of that. But I want to purchase those games, and I'm sure since you guys are hyping it up, I wouldn't regret it, right?
no,
Of course
definitely
not.
not.
It's not, which is interesting because we're just talking about the good purchases, but do we have any regretful purchases?
Oh boy, you're just throwing it
Uh,
out there. Uh,
Just
I
throwing it
mean,
out there.
the only one that really sticks to mind is back when I first got my first Wii Points card
Ooh.
back in the day. I bought this barn game. I don't know why, and it was literally shovelware, but I forced myself to like it because back then when you
Didn't
got
like it. What?
when you got a game a points card back then, that's all you had for like a year or two because you had back then I didn't have a job to do. I was like a freshman, sophomore in high school, and I mean I don't even think is it legal for 13-year-olds to work.
Uh,
I think you have to be
no.
16.
Depending, but I don't think so.
But nah, I got my points card and WiiWare was the big new thing, and I was like, okay, cool, let me check out WiiWare, and this is what they had, and it was just it wasn't good. Well, that was one, but as far from that, there's really nothing that comes to mind. Maybe they have y'all heard about Cell Damage?
No.
Cell
Uh,
damage. No.
It's like a racing battle type of game, cartoony art style.
Never heard
Was it
of
on
it.
Wii?
No, it originally came out on the Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube.
Hmm.
Anyway,
No.
the of course I played the GameCube version when I was a kid, and that version apparently the developers didn't like it the way they did it, because when they re-released it on the PS2, they like changed the mechanics to make it so there's no more one-hit KOs, and it's just they made a bunch of like what they would call quality of life changes, but people like me who played the original, the changes that they made are for the worst because the game just doesn't play the same. Because now there's like a health bar, and the thrill's not there that you got hit and you died instantly. But the thing is that you would always respawn like in like a second, so it's not like you would lose a lot of time. So
Yeah.
when they re-released that game, the PS2 version, onto the Switch and the PS4, and I bought it without knowing it was the PS2 version. So when I started playing it, I'm like, wait, why am I not dying? What's wrong with this game? And But I found out there's a lot of people were reaching out to the developer and be like, "Hey, is there any way you can update the game and not like a GameCube mode, so it plays like the GameCube game?" And they pretty much just ghosted everyone and left the game alone. So
Wow.
that was my regretful purchase.
Damn.
Developers didn't care.
That's
Dang.
always the worst. Is when you buy a game, then you know, the developers are just kind of like, yeah, whatever. We can just put this out and people will buy it.
And
Yep.
most of the time it works. No, I'm just kidding. What about
Yeah.
you, Bruce?
I can think of a few. Like if I wanted to be extremely rude to the Wii U and the Xenoblade fandom, I could say Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay. All right. All right, listen. I won't talk about it too long, but like I just could not get behind it. I tried so hard to enjoy that game because it's the sequel to my favorite RPG ever. And I just couldn't, man. And like after I grew so much resent for that game. Just like everything it did, it made the combat not as good. It took forever to do anything. All of the quests were like way higher level than you would actually be, and it took forever to level up anyways. Like just playing that game, I was like, man, this is absolutely nothing like the original Xenoblade. Uh, which just sucks. So, I put a lot of time into it, and I still, I couldn't even beat it. 90 hours, and I couldn't even beat it. Like, what does that say about a game like that? I guess
Says
some games are
get
just too
good.
damn big. I guess, yeah, I guess I should just get good. You're right. My
Eh,
mistake.
And you want me to buy the game?
We're
No, we
not
want you to
talking
buy the
about
good
that
one.
one.
Oh, I thought you said Xenoblade.
We're talking about
Xenoblade
Xenoblade
X.
Chronicles X.
Oh,
Yeah, for
that
the Wii
new
U.
one. Yeah, yeah, the Transformer one.
Yeah, only it
The
takes you 60 hours to get a Transformer.
jeez. The
At
the
least
key
it had a
we've
good
lost
soundtrack.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good song. I listen to it a lot actually, even now. But I've never played the game. I've never played the
Yeah.
game. For me, it's just
Looking up the song called New LA. That's Goose's favorite.
oh,
Oh my lord.
I'm
Which
gonna look
one?
it
Which
up.
one? Day or night?
Day.
Day. I can't hear you. That kind of. Oh
I'm
god.
gonna have
I
to listen
And
to
actually
then
it.
don't
I've
mind
never
there's
it.
listened
the
to
I
it.
don't
this
mind it.
there's the part where that lady's scatting and she's going but a beat up and it's like when you're on the 90th hour and you hear that over and over again while you're just trying to do side quests for dumbass NPCs, I was like, forget it. I'm over it.
What is it called? I'm looking it up.
It's New LA.
New LA.
I'm gonna
Xenoblade
definitely.
Chronicles
Yeah,
X.
make sure it's the day version and not the night version is pretty annoying too. Yeah, woo. uh, Although someone did make a remix of that once, and instead they overlaid Luigi sound clips over it, and it was much better. It was hey yo ho.
Oh wow, that sounded just like Luigi. That
Thanks.
was good.
Uh, uh, in terms of other regretful purchases, I know there was one that came out pretty recently. Um, I thought about saying Cyberpunk, but from the amount of
Oh.
from the amount of time I put into that game, I actually came out not hating that game. Um, so like I wouldn't say that Cyberpunk is the worst thing ever made, and hopefully in another year it'll actually be a good game with the updates and stuff. But that being said, they're gonna have to try really hard to get me to play it again. I did beat the story, so that says that it was at least worth finishing.
Okay.
But there was a game that came out uh, last year called The Medium, and The Medium was being really hyped up because it was supposed to be kind of like the next Silent Hill. It has it has like third person static camera angles. The music was done by Akira Yamaoka, who did the soundtracks to the Silent Hill games. And yeah, but the team that made it is Bloober Team, and they are most known for doing games like Layers of Fear and Blair Witch, which I am not a fan of those because one, you can't actually die in either of them, or at least in Layers of Fear. I haven't actually played Blair Witch, but it doesn't really look that much better. But Layers of Fear, you can't die. There's never anything actually chasing you, and it's just a spook house. You just walk forward, and then there's a jump scare or something happens, and then you're like, oh, okay, now let me walk to the next jump scare. But I had a lot of faith going into the medium because it was a much bigger budget. Microsoft was backing it, so they gave it a whole bunch of money to help it. And again, the stuff like Akira Yamaoka being on it. But it really just came out as like the most bland Silent Hill knockoff that a game could possibly be. I kind of really liked the main character. The gimmick that they had for the main character was really cool because she's like a spirit medium. So she can like talk with people in the spirit realm, and she switches back and forth between them. And Silent Hill has like a another another kind of world called the Other World, where like an evil world invades the like where you're in. So that was kind of like a similar thing. And sometimes you in the game there's just random points where you'll be taken into the spirit realm instead, and like things are like the world is still the same like layout wise, but it looks completely different and obviously is like way darker and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the puzzles were pretty simple. There wasn't really much going on with the puzzles, and there's one enemy in the game that just chases you, and if he catches you, it's an instant kill. Uh, so there's not even like any combat in the game. Like what made the Silent Hill games scary, along with like Resident Evil back in the day, is that you actually did have to fight, or else you would die. And if you have a game that either doesn't have any threats like Layers of Fear, or has a threat but you have no way of fighting back, like another good example of that is Outlast. I think Outlast is pretty overrated. Uh, then it's not exactly going to end up being a scary experience at all. And yeah, I expected so much from the medium, and it sadly just didn't really come out good. So after playing it, I was kind of like, man, did I really just spend $60 on this? I guess I did. Whoops. So that would be another one for me.
You got a couple. I'm like all listening to it like a reviewer too. I'm like, okay, do not buy these games. No, I think
Yeah.
for me, like in terms of regretful purchases, Skyward Sword would
Oh boy.
definitely not be on that list.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
I,
dang
I,
man,
I, I, I
I was about to get shanked in my own podcast. Like what? No, so
you're gonna really say that when a man named Bruce is in the room.
right, exactly that too. But mine's complicated, and I have to explain it, especially since my girl next to me, and every time I talk about it, she gets a little sad because she always thinks it's about her, but it's not about her. So again, I have to
Oh boy.
kind of explain
Uh-oh.
mine.
I think I know where
So,
this is going.
well, my regretful purchase, like honestly, and I'll explain it more in detail, but it would be Destiny 2. But here's the thing. Destiny 2 is a turned into a continuity game. So after Destiny 2 came out, it became buy the game, beat the campaign, start grinding. So it became a looter as well, right? But then Fortnite came out with the season pass and perfected that system. So a lot of games started jumping into the season pass, including Destiny. Destiny then jumped into the whole season thing, like every 3 months, so on and so forth. But I have to explain that because Destiny 1 was great. It was great. It wasn't perfect, but it was a game that we wanted, having powers in space, shooting as well. The shooting mechanics from Bungie worked so well. But Destiny 2 now does not feel like Destiny anymore. And again, I'm being very careful cuz like I know she's listening, she's looking at me. But I I do not have the will to play that game anymore. The only reason I play it is because it's my girl's favorite game. She loves it. She jumped into Destiny 2, so she right now is still in the honeymoon phase, and when she says she loves it, I believe her, because even right now, as I'm looking at her screen, she's playing Destiny 2. So she loves it, but I don't. I regret it. I every time I look at these other YouTubers that are actually covering Destiny 2 content, and they're like, yeah, we feel the same way, it's a love-hate relationship, but no, it's not the same way. I truly regret it. Like, I cannot stand any more Destiny, but I can stand it when I'm playing with my girl, because when I at least play it with her, it's funny moments, like funny after funny. Something always goes wrong, either it's with me or with her, but we're always having fun. So maybe that's the love part of it, but even then, I regret it. I regret getting into the Destiny 2 thing, because again, Destiny 2 thing is not just a game, it's a continuity, every season, every DLC, every pass, so it's not gonna die like anytime soon, as many as people say, oh, it's a dead game. No, it's not gonna die in that regard, but to me personally, it's just, I regret it. And dang, I bet a lot of people are like, "Dang, he's speaking from the heart. You okay?" but but yeah, no. And I hate saying this, because I know that there are some people that are gonna tune in and also gonna be kind of surprised. But it's just, I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it, and honestly, at this point, I regret it. I regret being into this universe, and the only reason I'm still into this universe, because I really want to know how it ends. It's like someone stringing you along for 10 years, and every month or so, or every 3 months, they're like, hey, another piece of the puzzle, here you go, here's a cutscene, and you beat that, you see the cutscene, and you gotta wait another 3 months just to see like what's gonna happen. Like, I just want to see through it, be able to at least see like, okay, that's why all of this happened, and then be able to be done with it. I've said it before and I say it again. Destiny should be buried. Should have been buried when they got freed from Activision, when Bungie got freed from Activision. It should have been buried, should have been killed with fire, and they should have moved on to their next game, which is apparently titled Matter, Matter. They should have just done that, because I feel like even now they're trying to fix it with the whole new superpowers, and I'm getting wind up, so I'm gonna start cutting myself off, because I can go on forever. But yes, this is, I truly regret I guess I wouldn't even say purchase, I would say the franchise. And I don't know, maybe you guys have something similar, because I know we were talking about purchases and I probably derailed it, but it's just something I had to get off my chest, because in terms of purchase, yeah, I do regret just getting into it. But like I said, I had to explain it, because I knew it was gonna be a little different. But Destiny 2, it would be the one thing that I'm like, yeah, I think I could have lived without it.
Destiny 2 has done emotional damage to you, to your relationship.
To my relationship.
It's torn you apart, man. I'm so sorry.
It's torn me apart, man. And that's the thing I constantly explain to my girl, because my girl's like, sometimes she's like, well, like she'll feel bad because she thinks I'm talking about her. And it's like, no, it's not that, it's you. It's the game. Like, I've been playing it since D1, like 7, 8 years ago. She's been playing it 3, 4 years ago. So there's a difference. And when it comes to a veteran, kind of like how you, Bruce, are like a veteran on Sonic. You've been playing it forever. You know the ins and out. And I've only been playing some of the, like the Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes. But I haven't played like the Mania. I haven't played recent games like Colors, even Unleashed. So it's kind of like that, where she hasn't witnessed everything that I've been through. But yeah, no, Destiny 2, man. I could go on for a bit longer, but that's it for me.
Good. I'm glad everybody should be using the podcast as therapy. I think it's good.
Therapy, yeah.
Let it all out.
Let it all out. Yeah, no, but what one, if I can truly say like one, because I know we probably already talked about this, I think, already, but just to kind of bring back some positivity. The one franchise I sworn I was never gonna get into was Monster Hunter, because as a FPS shooter and stuff, adventure, Zelda, all that, I never got used to the whole loading screen. Although yes, Karina Time and in a lot of Zelda games that we grew up with, yes, there was a loading screen when you would go into a temple, when you would go into an area. But seeing how Monster Hunter would load into areas every time you moved into a different area, I was like, no, I'll never get in it. But I got into it, I got hooked, and I actually got to meet my girl through Monster Hunter. So, I mean, yes, it has changed, but Monster Hunter was a surprising one for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, do you
That's
guys
good.
have any franchise like that? Maybe that you guys were like going in like, man, I'm probably not gonna like it. I'm just gonna
And you end up
play it.
loving it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The
Oh,
world ends
man.
with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. I
Okay.
want to play those so bad. They look really good.
Okay. Yeah, because that's I believe what's his name? His name escapes me, but he did appear in Dream Drop Distance, correct?
Deku.
Yes, that's his
Yeah,
name. Yes,
Echo.
yes, yes. I remember that because it sounds like Deku. That's how I remember it. But yeah, I haven't played those, but I've been meaning to because a lot of people saying it's really, really good. It's also a Nintendo exclusive by Square. Am I correct?
The first game, it's yes, because there's a lot of the controls for it on the
Mm-hmm.
DS were like very I used to touchscreen a whole lot.
Uh huh.
So it's on they did make a mobile version, and that there's an enhanced version of that mobile game on the Switch,
Mhm.
and you can't get that anywhere else because the controls are
Oh.
yeah, they'll have to redo the whole controls. But the second game, the sequel, is called Neo: The World Ends with You. That's on everything, even
Oh.
PC. But it's not on Steam. It's on the stupid Epic Game Store.
Oh.
But of
Epic.
course,
Of
they're
course.
taking over. I have to log into that every time I want to play Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh
Which
yeah, no.
we also have to get, man. We're gonna have to for the people listening into this, and I know for some people that are also waiting for me to try the randomizers too, man. We got to get together on that because that randomizer sounds really really fun.
Oh, it's the best. I can't wait till we can do that. Do some Majora's Mask rando, all that kind of stuff. There's some really really fun. Even the Mario 64 rando, I think will be really fun. Um, so yeah. In terms of, did you want to talk about The World Ends with You more, Obi?
Oh, there's really nothing specifically I wanted to say. It was just more complaints about Epic Game Store. I'm not buying anything on there. If it's not on Steam, I'm not buying it on PC.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I had to break the bank for Kingdom Hearts because once the randomizer and mods started popping off, that was when I was like, okay, yeah, I need to play these, so I guess I'll do it with Epic. What a shame.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I think if I could
It's
think
just
of
Square
something,
Enix. They're the only ones doing that. Final Fantasy VII Remake, the Kingdom Hearts games, The World Ends with You.
yeah, no, definitely Square is fully in there with them. I know there's a couple other companies, but out of all of them, Square it seems like is the most like in buddy with them. Uh, in terms of things that I never thought I would I never thought that I would get into um, would be fighting games for me. Because all of us play Smash. Like we all love Smash because of how like accessible it is. You don't have to learn these crazy combos or button inputs or anything. And for the longest time, I was like one of those people that's just like, yeah, I don't really ever see the appeal of fighting games because it's just so much knowledge that
Hmm.
you have to have and you have to study and everything. Until it took me a long time until Dragon Ball Fighters came out actually in 2018, and that game for some reason it just really drew me because like I had
Oh.
just watched through the Dragon Ball series, Dragon Ball Z, for the first time at
Mm-hmm.
that point. It took me until 2017 to watch Dragon Ball Z. I didn't grow up with it, but
Right, I haven't seen it either. I've just played the game on GameCube, so that's how I know the story a little bit.
oh yeah, yeah.
For me, it was
Budokai.
for Oh, go
Yes,
ahead.
Budokai.
Yeah,
Yes.
Budokai, which they did a good job of adapting the story. What were you saying, Phoenix?
Oh, sorry. But I was going to say that mine is not opposite, but for me, it was the concept of the combo fighting game. So I was already a fan of Smash, but for me, like to play like Tekken and stuff and Street Fighter, I was like, honestly, out for me, it was like, oh man, why would I want to get into that? Like, you have to, like, kind of like how you were saying, like, I have to study the combos, make sure I memorize it. But the one game that got me to be like, man, the like to have me have a lot of respect for players that play that was Soul Calibur, because I got Soul Calibur for just the like I think it came with my 360 or something like that, and I gave it a shot. Played it, started liking it. No, I remember it was Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube.
That's a Link.
That's right, and that's why I checked
Yeah.
it out. It was Link, cause I ended up getting that, and I ended up being pretty good. But then I stopped like playing it, and at the time that game came out, because it was the GameCube days, so it was like years ago. And I remember that it was like, okay, like I bought it, and there was no online, right? So I was like, okay, it's okay. But then Soul Calibur 4 or 5 came out for the 360, and that's how I started knowing about the online play and stuff, right? But then I started, messing around with more combos, like looking up YouTube videos and stuff, and then going online, and that's how I learned to respect like a lot of those players that would memorize like a 0 to kill combo, or like this is how you juggle people, and it's like it was intense. So Soul Calibur for me is what showed me that. I really wish Soul Calibur would make a comeback. I would
Yeah,
buy it.
that's reeling it back a bit. Another regretful purchase, I would say.
Really? No. What?
Soul Calibur 6.
Oh
Soul
my god.
Calibur 6.
What? Okay, actually I haven't played that one. I think that's the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
with
It came out. It came out. Oh God, who was the guest on that one? I don't
who
even
was the guest?
remember.
That's what I'm trying to think of, because
Oh, Geralt.
okay, no, I have not
from
played it.
from The Witcher. Yeah, he was the big
Oh,
guest on
okay.
that one.
Because I played
And
the
then
one with
they added
Ezio.
a
Mhm.
yeah, they added a in DLC. They added 2B from Nier Automata, which was pretty cool. Although I don't think anybody was really playing the game at that point. But yeah, Soul Calibur 6 came, and like I played Soul Calibur 2 was the one I got into the most
Yes.
after, because like, yeah, it's something that you played like back in the day because Link was in it, and you're like, whoa, that's
Yeah,
super cool. They
yeah,
added Link to a
yeah,
fighting game, and his moveset was sick. Like they gave him the big
yeah,
Goron
yeah.
sword from
They
Ocarina of
did.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like the Megaton hammer too. So
Mm-hmm. And the
like they
fairy sword.
actually gave him,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they gave him a sick moveset for that. Yeah, like I went back to previous Soul Caliburs after playing 6, because 6 was like really disappointing, and 6 had like this really dumb rock paper scissors mechanic that you could just do at any time. Somebody could hit you with L1, and then it puts you into like this forced scenario where like you're about to draw, and then you have to. It's literally just rock paper scissors. It's like
Huh.
whatever move you do, it'll beat out what this person does, and it's so lame. Like don't
What?
don't add rock paper scissors to your fighting game.
Yeah,
Um,
that'll slow down the momentum.
so yeah, but I mean, Soul Calibur as a series is really awesome, especially Soul Calibur
Yeah.
2 back in the day, and
Ooh, yes.
that is the same team that does Tekken as well. It's basically
Oh.
Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur has always been Tekken with swords, basically.
Oh.
Yeah,
I did not know
because
that.
Tekken's more about punching and Kazuya Mishima.
Kazuya
Um,
Mishiba.
but but yeah, Soul Calibur is fantastic. Soul Calibur 2, I think, will always be the fan favorite of that series. Although Soul Calibur 4 was super sick because you could either get Yoda on 360 or Darth Vader on PS3, and that was really really fun. But yeah, going back to like how I got into fighting games, Dragon Ball Fighters was like the first one that I really got into, and the characters just
Mm-hmm.
had like such great flow, and like 3-person fighting games I think are like peak, because my currently my favorite fighting game of all time is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's a 3v3 fighter. All of the Marvel games are 3v3s except for Infinite and I think the first one. Those are 2v2. But yeah, just having a big cast of characters, but they all still kind of feel different. Having really crazy, super hype, super moves like that. That's the thing. I was so excited with Smash Ultimate whenever they announced that they're going to be doing a Final Smash meter, because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we get to see Final Smashes and how hyped they are without having to have it as an item that will just break up the pace of fights. But the community decided to not use the meter anyways because Final Smashes are still busted.
Yeah,
So that's a
Final Meter
shame.
was cool. Yeah, that was a really
Yeah.
cool thing. It really, the Sakurai really was trying to please the really hardcore, like
Yeah,
Tekken and
absolutely.
Street Fighter. Yeah, for sure. But all
Yeah.
right, that'll definitely bring this podcast to a close. I really do appreciate you guys stopping here. Again, we try to meet up every Saturday for that Sunday upload. So I definitely do want to thank you guys. Thank you guys so much, both of you, for showing up. Any
Can y'all hear me?
yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna add real quick. The only fighting game I really like is the Persona one, Persona 4 Arena
Oh,
Ultimax.
Yeah.
okay.
I've
Persona
been
4
playing that.
Arena, which is really good, made by Arxis that do all the Guilty Gears and everything, and they also did Dragon Ball Fighters. So Arxis, they know how to make a fighting game. Like there's something to be said about anime fighters, but like they some of the most hype stuff can happen in those games, and Persona 4 is like a really really good one.
One of them.
Gameplay
Nice.
number one.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, Firebenders. Till next time. Have a
Till
good
next
day or good
time.
night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in.
Subscribe,
Like, click the bell, ring the
comment.
bell.
Let's get some algorithm going.
Bye bye.